Hello and welcome to the Non-League Podcast with myself, Lee Simons. And today I've got another special guest. I've got the Lynn Town forward, Michael Gash, with me. Michael, how are you, sir? Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, Lee. And thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us. But how have you been in isolation? It's been a lovely day today. The sun has been shining. It's been like 26, 27 degrees. It's been great, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it has. Unfortunately, I've got a load of PPE to wear for my work, so I'm a little bit hot. I have chainsaw trousers on and helmet on, working boots on, so it's tough out there when it's, like you say, when it's mid-20s, but you've got to wear it. But again, I'm lucky enough to be working, in this crisis really at the moment, but hopefully things are getting a little bit better and people are starting to get back to normality a little bit, even though, we're not over it, so we've still got to be careful and stick to the guidelines. But like I say, I've been lucky enough to be able to not work full time, but still be able to do bits and bobs with my job in the tree business.
Oh, I was just about to say, what do you actually do? But you actually answered the answer.
Yeah, I'm a tree surgeon.
Okay, yeah.
So it's I've only got into it 3 years ago, really, since I got into part-time football. So we can come on to that, but it was a bit of a blessing in disguise, really. So something, disappointing coming out of full-time football, but at the same time, everything's kind of come into place, and I probably wouldn't change anything now because I'm very happy with my football, and I'm very happy with my career of what I'm going to do after football as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great news to hear, Michael. But so, have you been doing any exercise training to keep yourself match fit? I know you can't really get match fit because there's no matches going on at the moment. But can you keep on top of it?
Well, we kept ticking over. Whilst we weren't too sure whether the season was going to come back on or not, but obviously since it's been cancelled, so we know there's definitely no more games except maybe for some playoffs. But if they're going to do playoffs, then they have to decide who's in the playoffs. So I'm going to guess they'd probably do that by points per game, which would mean we'd finish top. So whilst we didn't know, all the lads were kind of ticking over and keeping the fitness levels up. But since it's been cancelled and we know we're not going to play until next season, whenever that will be, I've kind of had my off-season break in that. I've done a few runs in that, but I'm just about to get into the swing of things now and start getting back out there and start running. I've had a bit of a break, so it's a bit different. Haven't been on holiday or anything, or any stag do's or anything like that. But we've had a break from football, and now I think everybody, including all the players, are itching to get back into it. And that starts with doing your own fitness regimes at home. Going running, doing everything you can to get fit for pre-season, and then get even fitter during pre-season.
Yeah, which is good news that football is going to return. I think in a couple of weeks, actually, on the 17th, I think, of June, which the Premier League starts again. So that is good news. I think there's people you can actually go and see people. A group of 6, I think it is now, which is good. Which is good in a way. So it might get you out to try and do some one-to-one stuff, which will be good for yourself. But for people who don't know you, Michael, can we just have a little bit of a background story on how you got into football?
Yeah, well, I was ever since I can remember when I was a young lad, I've been kicking a ball about. My dad's a big football fan. He used to play just, locally. I was born in Germany. My dad was a head teacher, worked in the forces on the British camps and everything. Yeah. So I lived in Germany for 8 years and then Cyprus for 4 years before moving to the UK. So I just played football locally. But yeah, like I said, ever since I think I could walk, I've had a ball at my feet and just loved it. My dad turned me into a Spurs fan, which some people might say, well, but I love it, even though it's ups and downs, more downs than ups, really, being a Spurs fan. But so come from kind of like a footballing family, really, with my dad very keen on it as well. So that's how really I got into it, just kicking a ball around with my dad in the garden. And then as I got older, I probably pestered him every single day to play with me in the garden.
Yeah.
And then, just obviously as I got older, started playing for teams. And when I was in Germany, just playing for the local German team that was around me.
Yeah.
Which was, brilliant for me. Just playing with a load of German boys. Obviously, didn't really know the language or anything. But the coaches and everything were very helpful and always very kind and made sure I understood everything. And I just enjoyed everything about football, really, and could never not get up and just want to play football. So I've always wanted to do it, and ever since you get a little bit older and you think about what you want to do when you're older, it was always I want to be a footballer. And I haven't reached the top level, but I've had a good career in the game, and been full time, being a professional. So I'll look back at it when I finish, and and probably sit there and be proud of what I've achieved, and look back on fond memories. Of course, there's ups and there's downs, but I've loved football ever since a young age.
Well, that's a beautiful about it, really, because I've been to watch Union Berlin in Germany, and it's completely different to like going to stadiums here in England. It's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I can still remember some of the facilities that I used to play at, and this was early 90s, and where they used to play, there was, I don't know, 8, 9 pitches, and then a pitch. They used to play on it's hard to explain, I don't know what it was, like chalky stuff.
Right, okay.
Sometimes for the younger teams. But then the indoor facility as well, they had like a little stand in there. And I always remember, especially when people start to talk about grassroots football and the facilities and what we have in this country, I always think back to flipping out in the early 90s in Germany. The facilities just for your local teams back then were unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think now we're starting to get a little bit better in this country of building it from grassroots and into non-league, and then so it just gives young boys more of a chance of fulfilling that dream.
Yeah, definitely. So when you come to England, whereabouts did you start playing your football?
So I was 12 when I moved back here, and then I just played locally again for a team where my mum and dad rented for 6 months, just while they were trying to find a house in Warrington. So I played for a team called Abbey Athletic, I think. I played a year group up though, and then I literally went to go to play for another team. But as I was going to play for that team, that was the town my mum and dad moved to, Market Deeping. Peterborough came into me and offered me a trial.
Oh wow!
So I went there at the age of under 13s, I think. So went for a trial and got into their academy. So I was in the academy for 2 years, 2.5 years, 2 years, I think, before it broke down.
Right.
I think all the money came out and everything, so it broke down. So a lot of the coaches and players went to Cambridge United.
Okay.
So I went over there with them. And then, unfortunately, I didn't get my scholarship at 16. They weren't too sure. They couldn't make their mind up. And then, in the end, they said no. So that was a big, big disappointment.
I bet it was for you, Michael. But were you training every single day when you were in the academies?
No. So it was just at that level, at that age, you were just in like Tuesday and Thursday nights, and then sometimes you might do, there was 4 or 5 of us that would do some extras on a Monday, like local lads. Yeah. Because they had lads travelling from, all parts of the country and from Wales and from Ireland. So some of the local lads would do some extra training on Mondays and everything. But, it was all evening stuff. And then games on a Sunday. Oh
wow! So were you always in the attacking sense of it? Did you always wanted to be a forward or in attacking midfielder role?
I've kind of always. I think when you're a bit younger, you probably can't remember thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm a striker," but I must have been. But because I've never really or remember playing anywhere else really.
No.
So yeah, always been a striker really.
So how was the coaches for you? Do they just took you under their wing and then just say, right, just try and get yourself improve your game better and better? Was that the case?
Yeah, well, the coaches obviously they want to. It's good for them as well when they have players coming through the academy and then into the scholarship scheme.
Yeah.
As a YTS at 16, and then players signing first-year pros, because they could come from under 9 level and go all the way through and then become a pro at that club, and that's that is down to the player obviously, but it's also down to the coaches and what the players have learned from their coaches, not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well, because it's it's very important. It's okay if you're a very good player, but if you haven't got the right attitude or the right mentality, or your behaviour, and you're doing the wrong things off the pitch, you're probably unlikely to make it far in the game, or even to being a professional footballer. So the coaches were very good, and one of my coaches was Dan Ashworth, who obviously was went into the FA, was director of football at West Brom, and then went into the FA, and obviously they've been from under 17 level. The England lads have been doing well in the last 4 or 5 years. So he and the structure he must have put in there in place has obviously worked. So I always look at Dan and think he was always a great coach for me. I think I had him at under 14 and 15. Yeah. But it just shows, that was at Peterborough and Cambridge, and it shows how far these coaches can go. Yeah. And do what they can do in the game if they, like players do, if they put all their effort in and have the right attitude and want to be successful and produce players, you can move on to bigger and better things as a coach as well.
Yeah, definitely. So when you got into Cambridge and you got into the last final stages, and you got that devastating news that you weren't going to be making it into the next stage at Cambridge, how did you feel after that?
I was devastated. So when you just one of them days, no matter how old I get, I'll always remember that day. Yeah. And I can always remember it was Dan Ashworth as well, who he rang me. And he just said, look, because I went in and trained with the youth team, all the under-16 lads who had got their scholarship, plus me. We went in and trained, and I think the youth team manager just kind of said to him, no, Gashy's not for me kind of thing. So Dan rang me and just said, look, unfortunately not going to offer you a scholarship, blah, blah, blah. And then he did say, there's a couple of clubs interested in you, though. I know one is Southend. I think it was Steve Tilson was there then. Yeah. And he said, look, I've passed your number on, so they'll probably ring you. Can I just have a quick word with your mum or dad? And I can remember just giving the phone to my dad. Yeah. And just went upstairs to my bedroom, just cried.
I bet you did, especially being only 16. I bet that was kind of devastating news for you to take. Which you always wanted to play football. Every young boy or girl, whatever, they always want to. When they've got that goal set, they always want to play football or rugby or whatever it is. It can be quite devastating news when you get rejected, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. And, whatever your goals are or dreams are in life, for me, obviously, it was to be a footballer, and you get to that stage where it's in your head, it's really important, and if you don't get your scholarship, you're not going to be a footballer, and that's my first thought. Yeah. That's it, it's over. Yeah. But once I'm much older and wiser now, but I had good people around me. I got 2 very good parents, and I can remember straight after, once my dad had spoken to him, he came upstairs and just had a chat with me, and basically said, look, it's not the end of the world. I know it feel like that right now, but it's not. Opportunities will come along. One door closes, but another one opens, And right there and then, you can't see anything except for disappointment and maybe a bit of failure. But it didn't take me long. I had a couple of phone calls, and it does give you that little bit of a boost. Clubs do want you at the age of 16 still, and in the end, I made the decision to just go across the river, as they say, just to Cambridge City, which was a part-time club, but they had a youth set up, a youth scheme, and a lot of the lads that didn't get the scholarships at Cambridge or Norwich were going to Cambridge City, and obviously I knew a few of the lads already, so I decided to go there. Maybe a little bit of comfort was probably in there. I'm not too sure, because Southend did want me, but I opted to go there, and again, that was probably a good move for me, because it put me straight into men's football. Because 3 months, I think we moved down. So you lived in digs and everything down there, lived with your teammates down there, beginning of July, and then August came, and I was on the bench for the first team for their first ever game in the Conference South at Weymouth away.
Oh wow!
So straight into men's football without even thinking about it, really.
So it's like, especially when you said about that closed door, that rejection from Cambridge United. That door was closed, and of course you had a chat with your dad, and of course those doors then open again. Say Southend, Cambridge City, and of course you've got other teams around that area as well, haven't you? Really, so there's plenty of opportunities for you. And of course, then, as you say, Cambridge City came along, grabbed you, picked you up, and put you into the first team straight away, which is really good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I was just training, with the youth team during pre-season, and then I think it must have been 2 or 3 weeks into it. One of the coaches pulled me and said, the manager said that he wants you to train with the first team tomorrow night.
Oh wow!
It's here at this time, blah blah blah. And it was in Cambridge, obviously, but I wasn't driving then or anything, so I had to ask one of the older lads if he could take me. Otherwise, I would have had to walk there. It probably would have taken me about an hour just to walk it. But one of the older lads took me, and I trained, and I think it was 2 weeks later at the start of the season, and I was travelling with them to Weymouth. Weymouth were big favourites to win it. I think Steve Claridge was manager then. Yeah. They had a big budget, and I can't even remember. I think I was sitting on the bus just thinking, it's just one of them. I'm on here for experience. Yeah. Probably not going to be on the bench, but I was on the bench. And then they had a striker who was not signed, but he was, because he can't be on the bench. He was not signed, but it must have been like a week-to-week thing or something like that. It wasn't like a permanent. And one of the strikers got injured after 15 minutes.
Oh wow!
And I just thought he's going to put this other guy on, but he just said, "Gashy, get warm, you're going on."
Wow!
And I went on, and then within 10 minutes, I scored.
Well, scored on your debut. I bet that was a great feeling for you.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And my mum and dad were actually there. They came down to watch. Yeah. Because obviously they knew that I was just travelling with the first team. And I think they've always come to, especially my home games, when I've been at Cambridge United and at Barnet, it's not too far away, and obviously to every Kings Lynn game they come. But they must have, just as parents do, just support, even though they probably thought I wasn't going to play either. They just wanted to be there. But yeah, it was great, and we won the game 2-1. So it's a great feeling. I can still remember just that, that happy, on the bus on the way home, and just, the lads are kind of like loving you, and but you're just sitting there just kind of thinking, and again, it wasn't at the top level, it was in the Conference South, so the level that Kings Lynn are at now, but as a 16-year-old, surrounded by players that have been pros, and, it was just, it was great, and then from then I scored the next game, we won, and then the next game I think we lost, and then he filtered me out of the team a bit. I don't know if he did it for the right reasons or not, but and then I was back in with the youth team and playing with the youth team in the reserve league on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it was great, but you were kind of brought back down to earth as well. Fairly quickly.
Well, especially when you're only at a young age, and scoring on your debut, and of course then scoring in the next game. That's definitely a brilliant achievement for yourself and for the team for you playing for. So, well done to you for getting that stage and scoring on your debut.
Cheers, thanks.
So from Cambridge City, how long did you stay at Cambridge City?
I was there for youth team, so 2 years. I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And then, so I did 1 season, then 2 seasons, then going into the 3rd season, Cambridge United signed me back as a pro.
Oh, wow.
So I was 18, I think, when I went back to Cambridge United, yeah.
So was it like a phone call, or did the manager at Cambridge City speak to you about Cambridge United wanted to sign you again?
It was, they signed 3 of us. They signed 3, youngish lads. So me, Josh Simpson and Robbie Simpson.
Right.
And I can't remember how we kind of found out, but they just, I don't think Cambridge City were too happy, but because we could just go on a free, you see.
Oh, right.
But I can't remember exactly, but I can just remember knowing I had to go for a medical, and I was at, I was working part-time, I think.
Yeah.
And because we had left the digs. So I was 18. So I came back home.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't in the youth setup anymore, but Cambridge City wanted me again.
Yeah.
But I was back home and I was working part-time. I can just remember at my job, and I think I got a message saying, is it possible to get to Cambridge today for 3 p.m. for your medical?
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I went and told them, and they were like, I don't know. And I just thought, I don't really care what you say, because I'm going, because this is the chance for me to be a professional footballer. So
definitely, Michael, because it's that big circle, isn't it? So you started at Cambridge United and of course Peterborough, and it's that big circle with Cambridge City got you started. And of course the scouts and the manager must have seen you play for Cambridge City, and they of course wanted you. So you always wanted to go for the next level, don't you?
Yeah, exactly, and it was it was great news, and obviously really happy about it. It was I think roughly the same, if not a little bit. No, I think it was a tiny bit more money as well, and it was hardly any money, but that didn't really bother me. I was 18. I just wanted to be a professional footballer. I wanted to try and prove to people and show people what I could do.
Yeah.
So that side of things didn't bother me one little bit. Still knew a few lads there, obviously, that had done the scholarship and got pros there.
Yeah.
So even though there were senior players there, it was a bit more comfortable, walking into the changing room.
Yeah.
So I travelled with one of the lads who lives in Peterborough, who I knew very well. So it was good, and to go there. It wasn't a great year for me, because the manager got sacked after about a month, and then new manager came in, and he was more of a senior player manager. He just liked to kind of play the pros.
Right. Okay.
So the old experienced pros, not necessarily old, but 23, 24s and above.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was tough. So I actually ended up going back on loan to Cambridge City.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that season, didn't re-sign at Cambridge United and went back to Cambridge City.
Yeah.
And had a great season for them, which is when Ebbsfleet bought me at the end of that season. Oh,
right. Okay. So Ebbsfleet bought you after that season. How was that? How did that come about?
That was I kind of knew that there were teams watching me kind of throughout the season, and then in the end, I can't remember exactly, but I knew Ebbsfleet was there, and I can remember talking to Liam Dash, and they were the first team, I think, to have like a My Fans kind of ownership of the club.
Yeah.
and it was the fans that put the money in to buy me.
Oh, wow.
They came up with £20,000, and Cambridge City accepted it, and I went to Ebbsfleet.
Wow.
Which again was good because they were in, they were in the conference. It was full-time football. They were buying me, so it felt good. Maybe felt a tad bit of pressure, but I can't remember thinking, I've got to do well. But I just wanted to go there again and just prove myself.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You want to go to that next level in anything, really, especially playing professional football at that stage in your career. That's what's your main goal, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone's coming from a higher league, you're always going to have that desire in you that you want to go and prove yourself at that higher level and show people that you can do it at that level as well. So, and again, it's always nice when a team wants you and is willing to pay money for you. So, thankfully, it was a nice, easy, quick deal between the two clubs.
Yeah.
And I was off down the road. When I say down the road, a good few hours down the road in Kent. So I had to move down there.
Yeah.
Find a place to live in, and but it was all good, and it was, as a team, I think it was a bit of a mediocre season. But I think for me, I don't look back at it and think, oh yeah, I was flying. I think I scored like 13 or 14 goals. That was it, and but I felt that like I did have a good season, and like a few managers did compliment me that season. I can always remember Dean Saunders talking to me after a game.
Wow.
But it was I was only there for a season, and then York bought me for some more money from Ebbsfleet.
Oh wow! So how much did you go to York City for? Can you remember?
55.
Oh wow! Well, that's you can see that the clubs actually want you. The fees are going up, and you're thinking, well, that you must be chuffed with yourself. You've actually achieved, your goal into getting into that professional role, which is good.
Yeah, like you say, it's always a nice feeling when clubs want you. And there was, I think there was 5 or 6 that had put bids in, but there weren't enough for Ebbsfleet to accept. So,
yeah.
In the end, it was York that made the only bid that was acceptable. So I spoke to them, and that York didn't have a great season at all that season, but they were saying that they were looking to do something the season I was going to join them.
Yeah.
And they were telling me the players that had already come in that they'd signed, and the players that were trying to get in. And one of the lads was from Ebbsfleet that had already gone.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was a good player, so I believed in what they said and where they wanted to go. So in the end, I signed for them. Great club, great place to live. It didn't quite work out as well as I would have wanted to. I mean, the first season we got to the playoff final at Wembley, but lost to Oxford. But I was in and out of teams. I broke my foot, I think, middle of October.
Yeah.
And then I was out for 7 weeks. And then when I came back, the team obviously were flying still. And Richard Brodie was banging in goals left, right and centre. And the other striker, Michael Rankin, was doing very well as well. So it was tough to get in. I was still playing some games, but it was tough. It was good, obviously, for York and the managers, because they had 3 strikers that were, causing problems for other teams. But it didn't quite go to plan, that move, really. And then the following season, the manager left and new manager came in and didn't really like me, so I had to try and find somewhere to go, and I went on loan to Rushden.
Okay. So
halfway through the second season I was there, yeah.
So how was it to Rushden, and how did you get on over there?
It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I've got one of my best mates was playing for him, Jamie Day, and he lived in Peterborough, so I came back down to Peterborough.
Yeah.
Just had to live with my mum and dad because I was still renting in York.
Yeah.
But my partner had to. She was teacher up there. She had a part-time teacher's job, so she had to stay.
Yeah.
Up there, so we just kept renting up there, and I just stayed at my mum and dad's in Peterborough, and obviously just commuted to Rushden, which ain't too far at all, but shared lifts. But I had a great time there. A good team, some real good players. Top manager, it was Justin Edinburgh, the manager.
Oh, right.
Wow. And I had a great time. 4 months, a great 4 months, and unfortunately, that was the last ever season of Rushden and Diamonds, really, because that was when they went into liquidation.
Unfortunately, that season ends for Rushden. Of course, the whole club ends for Rushden and Diamonds. But whereabouts did you go back to York City and then decide what you wanted to do after that?
No, so that was at the end of my second year. So I only signed a 2-year contract. So my contract was up. So I was a free agent. So Cambridge United came back in.
Yeah.
In for me and offered me a 2-year deal to go there. So I was happy to do that. And again, the first year was mediocre.
Yeah.
Team didn't really do much. It was a young team. But we didn't really do much. And then the second year in the summer, I think they put a bit of money into it, and they bought a few players in. Again, only younger players, and then coming into pre-season, I was the oldest player there.
Oh wow!
I think at 25.
Blimey.
And I kind of just felt that they're not really gonna play me here. And then for the first month of the season, I went on loan to Braintree, which I enjoyed. Alan Devonshire's the manager there.
Right. Okay.
He was a real good manager. Got on really well with him, and it was just great to same league, just play some games. Performed quite well for them, but Cambridge United called me back early.
Yeah.
From that loan, they weren't doing too well, and then I went back, and a new manager came in, Richard Money, and he said he wanted me to lead the line, as they say. He wanted me in the team, and then for 3.5 months, 4 months, I did really well.
Yeah.
And then round January time, Kidderminster came in for me and paid some money for me to go there.
Wow, so it's all kind of a big circle, really, isn't it? Especially with Cambridge United and Cambridge City, which is really good to see that people want you, and you go into all these different clubs, which is great to see. This is what you want to do, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly, and like you say, it's funny how you kind of end up going back to these teams, but. When you leave, I didn't leave on a sour note or on a bad note.
No.
I've got a lot of respect for the clubs, that all the clubs that I've played for, whether it's worked out well for me or it hasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, I've played for them, played for Cambridge City twice, and played for Cambridge United twice. So it was. It was good. I enjoyed my time there, but Kidderminster were right near the top of the table. They wanted me, and it was the right thing to do. So I went there and signed a 2-year contract, and unfortunately we missed out on the title by 1 point. Mansfield won it that year.
Wow. Did you go into was it in the playoffs of that season as well?
Yeah, so we were in the playoffs, but we lost in the semi-finals to Wrexham.
Oh right. Oh.
So it was it was disappointing, but it was still, I enjoyed, again, another great club. Enjoyed my time there.
Yeah.
A great few years, a good cup run, FA Cup run. We got to the 4th round. So.
Oh wow.
It was it was a great few years, and really enjoyed it there.
Well, that's the main thing. So who did you play in the FA Cup then on the 4th round?
We played Peterborough, which was great for me, in the 3rd round.
Oh wow.
We drew at home, and then we beat them away at London Road, and I scored as well. So that's one of my best moments in football. That is coming back to to the town I'm from and the city I'm from. Sorry, and beating them, but also scoring was brilliant. And then we got Sunderland away in the fourth round.
How was that going all the way up to Sunderland on the fourth?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, we stayed overnight the night before and everything, but they were in the Prem then as well. So
oh wow,
it was it was great for a club like Kidderminster. I think we took 5,000 fans. It was brilliant. The only disappointing thing about that, two disappointing things about that, we lost 1-0, but I also had a great opportunity to score and I didn't. Keeper saved it, so a bit disappointing.
Exactly, you got like 5,000 fans like chanting your name, at the Stadium of Light. I bet that was incredible. Anyway, especially for you guys playing for Kidderminster, I bet that was great.
Oh yes, to have a following like that was, it wasn't sold out obviously because it's a non-league club coming to a Prem club, but I think there was probably still near enough 25, possibly 30,000 people in there. So
wow.
It was still a great atmosphere, and obviously the Kiddie fans, and also some of the Sunderland fans were clapping us off at the end of the game. So it was a real enjoyable game. Obviously, because you got to make the most of them games because they don't come around all the time. But you still got a job to do, and we still obviously wanted to win or do what we could. But losing 1-0 to a Premier League team, even though probably resting some players, they still had some quality players out there. It wasn't a too bad a result, and we did Kidderminster Football Club proud, I think, on that day.
Especially only losing 1-0, and of course you were playing a Premier League team, and of course you were saying you're only a non-league team at that stage. No, that's an achievement in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, like I say, everyone wanted some kind of result, and I had an opportunity, and then we had another lad had an opportunity in the last minute as well, which, could have got them back to Agborough at Kidderminster, and anything could have happened, but it wasn't to be. But like I said, it was an enjoyable day. All family and friends come to watch. 5,000 Kiddie fans up on the top tier. It was a fantastic day, and again, something that I'll always remember.
Definitely will remember that one anyway. For the second season, how did you get on with the second season? Was it like an up and down season for you? Did you manage to get promotion that season or missed out? How did you get on?
The second season, again, it always seems like a manager leaves. The second season, the manager left. The manager left. So I went there. I joined in January, and then we finished that season. Then the following season, we had the FA Cup run, and we did okay in the league, but nothing too special. But we weren't in the playoffs or anything. But then the following season, the manager left.
Right. Okay.
And then again, I kind of fell out of favour. I went on loan to Nuneaton. Liam Daish was there. Yeah. He just said, "Come here, play some games." So I went there for a month and a half, I think, and then came back to Kiddie, but I think they were trying to, the chairman had left the club as well, and I think they were trying to sort out finances and everything, and they said that I had to go. So all the horrible behind the scenes stuff was, trying to sort that out. And to be honest, I was a bit unsure of what I was going to do or where I was going to go, because I hadn't really been playing much. No. And then out of the blue, I had a phone call from Martin Allen telling me that he wants me to come down and train at Barnet.
Oh wow!
And Barnet were top of the league.
Yeah, wow.
So I was just like, talking to my agent, who I know very well, Danny Nesbitt. Who I played with at Cambridge City and Cambridge United, goalkeeper. Yeah. He's more of a friend than an agent. He is a licensed agent, but he was because I knew him, it was more of a helping hand kind of thing. Yeah. And he just said, "Look, go down there, train with him, and then just see what happens. And basically, I went down there, and he spoke to me a few days before, and he was like, I want you to come down and prove your fitness to me.
Yeah.
How fit are you? And I said, well, Kidderminster wouldn't let me train with them.
Oh,
so
right.
all I can do is been going to the gym. Obviously, I haven't been playing games. And he was like, well, come prove your fitness to me and we'll see what happens. Anyway, the first day I trained, there was a few runs in it, nothing too bad.
Yeah.
And then I just did something in like a little possession game that obviously he really liked, and he blew the whistle, pulled everyone in, and he just told me to go walk to this fence. He just said, you go walk to that fence and come back. And it was about 300 metres away.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, obviously you hear the stories about Martin Allen, and I was just like, and a few of the lads just looked at me and kind of like nodded their head as if to say, just like go.
Yeah.
And I walked over there, walked back, and as I got back towards the group, he just said, Gashi, he just said, boys, welcome Gashi to the football club.
Oh,
he
wow.
said he's signing this afternoon. So at that point, I can't tell you how happy I was.
Especially when Kidderminster didn't want you right at the end of that 2-year stint, and then of course you got that call out of the blue, and Barnet just signs you up for what you did on the training pitch, which is excellent news really for you. You know, that's what you wanted, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable because they were top of the league. So this was January time. They were top of the league, and again, I knew a couple of players there, but I was not expecting just to go straight into the team because they're top of the league for a reason. Yeah. They're a good team. But I kind of bided my time, and about 5 games into it there, I started to get a start in place and play up front with John Akindi.
Wow.
And kind of never looked back because I was not replacing, but it was Charlie McDonald, you know, who's had a great career in the game. A little bit older than me, but he was playing with John. He was captain as well, but you know, the manager decided to start playing me in the games. I was proving was getting fitter and fitter every week, and I was doing well when I was coming off the bench. So obviously I was happy to be starting, but it was just one of them teams where whoever plays, everyone's supporting everyone. Yeah, and. Again, great finish of the season because we won the league and we got promoted into League 2. So it was just from not knowing what I was going to do, like who I was going to go play for or anything. Kidderminster right near the bottom of the league. Yeah, you go home, you're sitting on the sofa, and then the manager from the team that's at the top of the league's ringing you, telling you to come down and train with them.
And then Then you get signed in that afternoon, which is incredible. And of course, then you won the league, which is even a bonus, really. Especially you got that achievement, and now you've got that goal which you've completed. So now I'm a professional footballer for Barnet, which is what you wanted.
Well, exactly, and it's been, you know, there's been many ups and downs along the way, but to go there and to win the league, and I've missed out on getting promoted from the conference on a few times, obviously with York and Kidderminster. So to actually do it and doing it by winning it and being a champion is a great feeling. And obviously then knowing you're going to go play in League 2, and there were some big clubs in League 2 at that time. Yeah. You know, like the likes of Plymouth and Portsmouth, and I think even though Notts County are in the conference now, they were in there. Yeah. A few others as well, and you know, you're going to some great stadiums, great atmospheres. So it was brilliant, and it was. I was just so happy.
Yeah, I bet you were. I bet you were. So how was that pre-season going into that first season in League 2 for you?
It was make sure you come back to pre-season fit. Yeah. I still didn't know Martin Allen that much, but it wasn't as bad as what I'd heard from stories from years and years ago. Yeah. But his man management and everything was absolutely spot on, and he's a top manager, and his knowledge of the game he has his ways of the way he wants to play, but obviously, you know, he's had a few promotions in his career as well as a manager, so they obviously work. But he's just one of them. You give me 100% on the training pitch every day, and on the pitch when it's game time, and you do as I say, and you give 100%, and this, that, and the other, then he'll look after you. He looks after his players all the time. You know, he has players in his office asking them, you know, what do you want to do for training today? Are the boys feeling tired? Do they just need a little short session?
Yeah.
Do we need a little blowout? He'll get that information from the players, which is, you know, and the players won't just say, oh, yeah, let's just have a little fun kickabout. That they'll be honest as well and, you know, say what they need and what's what. And it was brilliant to work for. But that pre-season, I just wanted to make sure I come back fit because I knew that it's probably going to be fairly tough. But again, it wasn't as tough as I probably had in my head, thinking, oh, with Martin, it might be really tough. But again, he looked after his players. He didn't just do long runs. He did it game related. Yeah. He made it enjoyable. There were still some real tough runs, but it was a good pre-season. I went into that season feeling really fit.
Wow, I bet that was incredible to see, thinking now I've got that chance to play in League Two. Did you play in the first game of the season?
Yes, I did. Leyton Orient away.
Wow.
Again, I should have scored. We lost, unfortunately, but yeah, I should have scored. So, but again, it's just these little things. And again, I haven't played at top level, but I feel like I've played at a good level. And you know, you've just got that Sky Bet badge on the side on your sleeve. Yeah. You know, League Two, which is different to the conference badges and everything. So just stuff like that, and you're just like, I've now played in the league, and I want to stay in the league as long as I can. Yeah,
definitely.
But it's it was great to be out there and play. Just disappointed, obviously, with the result and not scoring.
Yeah, I bet. So, how was that season overall in your eyes? How did it go for you?
Well, the start went really well because I won September's Sky Bet Player of the Month.
Oh, wow. Well, brilliant.
So, again, my first season in league football, and then the first Player of the Month, I've won it. And, again, you know, everything's just going right at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
It's absolutely brilliant. So it was an okay season for Barnet. You know, we didn't go down. We weren't close to going down, but it was the following season that we kind of he brought in some more players, and I think to do something. But unfortunately for me, in the second or third game of the season, I did my cruciate knee ligament.
Ooh. Ow. How long? I was going to say, how long are you out for with that?
For the rest of the season.
Oh my God! Wow, ouch. So so you had to kind of like sit there and watch your teammates, your manager, and try and keep the Barnet into the in that league.
Yeah, well, exactly, and with knowing that they've brought some players in, and we really want to kind of maybe try and do something this year, and then that happening, it was real tough blow, and it was I was just coming up to 30 years old, and I'm not saying at 30 a lot of players retire because they're still going to 34, 35, 36.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I know people that have not come back from cruciate knee ligaments, and how your rehab goes and how your knee adapts to it is just the end for me. And then rehab and everything went fine.
Yeah.
It was all good, and I was coming back. But unfortunately, Martin left the club. My contract was running out at the end of that year. And then in the end, just as I was kind of coming back, I wasn't going to play a game that season, but I wouldn't have been far off. But unfortunately, they didn't renew my contract, so I had been out for a season with a cruciate knee ligament at the age of 30.
Yeah.
And I had no club, so it was one of them times where you think, right, what's going to happen now?
Yeah, especially you don't know which road to take. Did you get because you were probably just sitting at home and then thinking, well, what do I do next?
Well, exactly. I was just thinking, what am I going to do? I'd done my rehab and I'd been outside training with the physio, and I joined in a few of the training sessions with the first team, but was still not fully in. Yeah. But with contact stuff, but I was doing everything on my own,
right?
Like with the twisting, turning, hitting balls, all that kind of stuff, and it would all been fine. Yeah. But I hadn't really done a real proper training session. Obviously, played a game, so I was still thinking maybe a little bit. Hopefully it's just going to hold up for when I do go into that. Yeah. But I had a few offers from conference clubs, which just weren't right for me really. A bit too far away, and like financially wise, it just I just couldn't have done it. I couldn't have commuted, and then to live down there, I would have had to move away from the family. Because to have them down there, it just wouldn't have been really affordable. So, unfortunately, I just had to say that to them. But and I get it, because they were signing nearly a 31-year-old who hadn't played for a year. Yeah. So it was maybe a bit of risk from them, but obviously they did kind of want me because I was kind of proven at the conference level. So I did get it, but I was just honest with them, and they said fine. And I'd already had the interest from Kings Lynn as well, and spoke to Ian.
All right, yeah.
And like I said, you want to stay as high as possible, but I kind of looked at it as okay, maybe this is a chance for me to think about what I'm going to do after football, because this is part time, and this may give me the chance to look into a career whilst I'm getting paid some money from Kings Lynn. Yeah. So I'm not in that position where I need to just dive into a job because I need an income, because I finished football totally, and now I don't know what I'm going to do. I need money next month to pay mortgage, whereas I had Kings Lynn there paying me, but I could then take my time and not jump into a job, if you get me.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I do get you.
So it was it was good for me. And then I was doing a few bits and bobs here and there for a few different mates. They've all got their own companies. Yeah. And then I ended up just getting into the tree surgery. One of my mates has his own business. Yeah. And he said, look, come along, a few days here, a few days there, see if you enjoy it. I did, and now I've got qualifications. I'm a qualified tree surgeon, so I now look at it, like I said earlier, as a blessing in disguise, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I dropped down a few leagues, but I now know what I'm going to do after football. Exactly. I now have a career for myself. Yeah. But also, I've gone to a football club that is, whilst I've been there, and they signed, new players that season. I joined as well. Yeah. We've all progressed as a team, as a football club, and we are where we are now. Hopefully, get another promotion, but it's just, I've seen it really as a big success on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah. So how was that first season with Kings Lynn Town? How was it for you when you went into the first season?
It was really, really good. I was obviously just it was going to be my first game since doing my knee. Yeah. Obviously, I played a few friendlies, but again, it's just, it's not the same as that first league game. Yeah. But training wise and everything had gone well. But I really enjoyed it, and obviously we did really well as a team. Yeah. And unfortunately lost in the playoff final, which was really disappointing. But could only see us really kind of repeating it the following season and going one better. I thought we'd probably win it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the manager left. Ian left.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a surprise. But as everyone knows, new manager came in, it didn't work out, and Ian came back and worked his magic and got us right back up the table.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't win it because Kettering started off so well as well and didn't really drop points. But into the playoffs we went, and everybody knows the story from there. So
definitely.
And then this season, exactly the same. We just hope that something positive comes out from it.
Well, definitely. Well, it's a positive anyway, because especially from the last season, not the season just gone, but the last season when you won the Super Playoff. I bet that was kind of another experience in your football career that you see as an achievement.
Oh, the day last year of getting promoted and scoring the winner in the Super Play final is one of my best moments in football.
Yeah, no, I bet it is.
You have to cherish everything you do in the football game, and like I say, you want to play as high as possible, but everyone can't. Otherwise, everyone would. But to score that winning goal was obviously an unbelievable feeling.
Yeah.
But the feeling of winning promotion with that team, with that set of lads, with the manager, all the staff, the chairman that puts his money in and everything, to win it with especially them lads and the manager, was just one of the greatest feelings I've ever had, because all them lads are such top lads, and the changing room itself, the camaraderie we have, just everything. There's no cliques in there. Everyone gets on with everyone. Everyone wants everyone to do well. It's a great place to be, and I was delighted to get promoted, but obviously being a little bit older, one of the more experienced ones now, I kind of look at it and look at everyone kind of celebrating, and I just think, take it all in, because you don't get promotions. You don't get a lot of promotions unless you're really lucky throughout your career. So
definitely
enjoy it, because it's absolutely fantastic. And like I say, to do it with Kings Lynn and to do it with them set of lads was fantastic.
Yeah, I bet it was, especially when you scored that goal. Do you ever watch it back?
Yeah, I've seen it back a few times from a few different angles, because obviously people tag me and things, and there's a few recordings of it. But it still gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, I bet it does.
It's just that we were 8 minutes away from losing, and then Maz won the penalty and slotted the penalty home, and then into extra time. And then obviously 5 minutes or 3 minutes to go, and people are, thinking, it's going to be penalties, and probably, players probably thinking about it. Probably, I don't know, if you're going to take a penalty, getting a bit nervous, thinking about what you're going to do, where you're going to put it. But it was just one of them. It just felt to me, I think a defender was coming out. I just had a touch past him, because I was thinking, should I shoot first time? And then he was coming out quite quick, so I thought my touch will just beat him.
Yeah.
And then it just opened up, just the corner was there, and it's just the perfect connection, and it flew off my foot and rifled into the bottom corner, and it was, like I say, couldn't guarantee that we'd won it from there, but we knew there wasn't long left.
Yeah.
And as a team, we'll always believe in ourselves that we can keep a team out, because we've got good players, especially at the back, and a great goalkeeper. So it was a phenomenal feeling, but I was just so happy to do it with that set of lads.
Especially when you've got a big following going to watch your games from that season anyway. You took quite a lot of fans there as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they only had a certain amount of tickets, but they sold them out.
Yeah. But
it was, you could hear them. So the Warrington fans were quite loud as well, but obviously they had home advantage. So they had more fans there.
Yeah.
The Kings Lynn fans were fantastic, and to celebrate with them after as well was brilliant. And when they're just singing, it was just great for the whole club in general. Everyone associated with the club, it was just a great day for everyone.
Especially going into the following season, kind of like underdogs, really, because you wasn't sure on what was going to happen for your teammates and for the clubs who you're going to face, because you've got like some really far treks to go, haven't you? Really, like Gateshead, York City's one of your old teams as well. So I bet that's kind of when you played York City, I bet that was quite an interesting one for you.
Yeah, no, it's always good going back to old clubs. You get some stick. I knew I was going to get some stick at York. Unfortunately, they beat us as well, but I still know a few people there, and a couple of season ticket holders as well that we know and who keep in touch with the family and everything. So it's always nice to go back. But like you say, up in this league now, there's some decent big clubs in this league for the Conference North. Like say York City, you got Chester that used to be Football League, Hereford. So you got teams that are full time. They're full time. So to be where we are, as well as a part time team, and probably one of the lowest budgets in the league, you can only. I think from afar, you can only admire what we've done during the season.
Yeah.
And of course, it's down to the players that play the games, but a lot of it is down to the manager and how he's made us better, how he's progressed us as a team, how his tactical knowledge, his man management is just first class in everything he does, and he just has total respect of the players, and the players listen to whatever he says and try to put that out on the pitch. And thankfully it has worked, probably 85-90% of the time, and you can see that from the results we've had and where we are.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you played York City at home as well. Over, was it 4,000 people were there? I bet that was kind of an achievement when you beat them, and of course going top as well, going head to head with them as well. I bet that was kind of a good run for you as well.
With the playoff final that we had there in my first season, which again was about that many. Unfortunately, we lost though. But to have that and that top of the table clash, everything around the game, about it's a vital game to, not who's going to necessarily win the league, but it's whoever won that game would be top of the league, and it was a massive game, obviously, against one of my former clubs anyway, so that's just a bit of extra spice to it for me. But to have that many people through the gate, and to have that support, and then to go on and win the game was fantastic. And I mean, to have 4,000 people at the Walks, I don't know how many times they've done that there, but I can't see it being too many.
No, I think it's about 3 or 4 this season, which is incredible, really, for our standard of football, the non-league side of it, which is really good.
I know. In our league, obviously, you have got the Yorks and the Chesters and Herefords where they do get big crowds. But I think if you have a look at the average crowds, I think we're like maybe 5th or something with about 1,100-1,200.
Yeah.
Which again for Kings Lynn is fantastic, but to then get them crowds that are going to 1,500-1,600 now because they're doing so well, and that's just no disrespect to, but against the smaller teams in that league, the teams that aren't doing very well, you're still getting 1,400, 1,500, 1,600 fans.
Yeah,
it's brilliant and a testament to the Kings Lynn fans, but when you are getting a big club and they're bringing a lot, and like Boston when we played them at Christmas, they're 2,500 there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
There's nothing better than playing in front of a good crowd. As a player, it definitely just gives you that extra lift.
Yeah.
You kind of want to perform even better, even though you always want to perform to your best ability.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to put on a show and be successful of getting a win for the fans that have turned out to support you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, of course, it's still up in the air with your league, and of course the Championship League 1 and 2 at the moment. But you never know. You may get the points what you need and get promotion for the actual conference itself.
Well, we no one knows that at the moment, but it would be for the club. It'd be fantastic to go up to the National League.
Definitely.
And the way things are looking, it looks like that is a good possibility. But you can't get your hopes up until something is actually said. But if they've cancelled our season, so the only way they're gonna say if someone can go up, even if they can't do the playoffs and they just say second place, the only way they can do it is points per game.
Yes.
So, and if they do that, obviously we finish top, which is great for us, and we will get promoted.
Yep.
And it would just be fantastic again for the whole town, really, to have clubs, big clubs coming to the walks.
Yeah, definitely.
Great, obviously for the chairman, but also great for the players and management staff and everyone involved really with the club, because it just gives it that extra buzz coming into that season. You might have a couple of games on TV.
Yeah.
It's it would just be absolutely fantastic for the club, and for me to be there for 3 seasons and get 2 promotions, that them medals will hang alongside my conference medal and with pride, because there's nothing better than a promotion.
Yeah, definitely. So what is actually going to happen with yourself for next season anyway? What's happening for you? Are you going to be staying at Kings Lynn, or are you looking to go elsewhere? What's going to happen with you?
I've just agreed to stay for another year. So
oh wow, brilliant!
I'll be there.
Excellent.
I'll be there for another year. Yeah. So I spoke to the gaffer and he said that he wanted me for next season. So that was that. That was it. That was done. Didn't need to discuss anything else. No, didn't need to discuss financial side of things or anything like that. I just said I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with me signing exactly the same deal, whether we're promoted or not. I want to be at Kings Lynn, and I'm enjoying my football, enjoying everything about Kings Lynn, and it's where I want to be. So when they said that was the easiest, quickest decision for me.
Wow, that's amazing news, especially for yourself and for the Kings Lynn fans as well, which supported you all the way through it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've had nothing but love from the Kings Lynn fans, really, to be honest. And it's I get tweets, get inboxes, and I try and reply to everyone that's sends me something or writes something.
Yeah.
Because it's great to have that support of the team you play for fans to either congratulate you after a game or or praise you. It's always a nice feeling. So I'd love nothing more to give back to them as much as I can, and hopefully that will be with another promotion.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got one more question to ask you. It's all about social media, because especially with doing these podcasts, and I've done a few little highlights down in the other leagues as well. Do you think it's a good thing with social media, especially talking to fans, and seeing your goals back and everything else? Is it a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing?
Personally, it's a real tough one, because I've seen both sides of social media. I've been abused and hammered on social media.
Yeah.
But I think if you just use it for what you want to use it for, and when someone is either trying to belittle you or abuse you or do whatever you just have to ignore it. I know sometimes it can be hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can reply with a bit of a jokey reply, but then you don't want to get into some kind of like slanging match either.
Yeah.
But also, no matter who you are, if someone's writing something positive or something good about you, that's always nice to read.
Yeah.
But there's the flip side of someone writing a not so nice thing about you.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I think you just have to use it. People can use it as a platform for whatever they want to do, promote or do whatever. But I just use it as a bit of information about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
About maybe what my friends are doing or what, players I've played with or what they're doing, or, because you see loads of stuff, players put stuff up on there, blah, blah, blah. But I think social media it's tough. It can be both ways, but when there's negative things, for me, about me or anything, when there's negative things, I try not to take too much in with it, and I just ignore it, really. And but like I say, if a fan wants to interact with you, they can do. It's a way that they can. So for them, also, that they probably enjoy either getting a reply back from you or whatever you have done.
Yeah.
It's for me. I think it's a good thing. I really do, and it's for the actual clubs as well. I think they can promote a lot of things and a lot of things. I don't know, just positive things can. Positive things are always going to be there, but there's always going to be negatives about things as well. But as players, as your own individual, if you use it to kind of your best ability and not worry about a few negative things on there, I think it's a good thing.
Well, Michael, I appreciate your time. It's been great to talk to you. Thanks for coming on the podcast today.
No problem. Been a pleasure.
And Michael, I will come up to the walks to come and see you boys in action for next season. That'll be good to see.
Good stuff.
So for people who are listening to the podcast, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.